All right, guys, what's going on? Levi Trumbull reporting here, and in front of us here on the screen, we have the application for statement of charges as it relates to 71-year-old Robert Lookingbill. He is a town commissioner for the town of Thurmont, Maryland. As you know, we brought to you that breaking news last week that he was arrested, and we actually just got out of court where he was released on his own recognizance. We told you last week that we expected by Monday morning we would have the application for statement of charges, and sure enough, I did get a copy of this application just this morning, and we are going to bring you the specific details. As I'm sure many of you know by now, he was arrested on charges of improper conduct with a particular juvenile. He is a school bus driver for Frederick County Public Schools, or was, I should say. He is on hold pending this situation. But in any event, we didn't have a lot of specifics when the news actually broke last week, late Friday in the evening. But come Monday, we have a much clearer picture as to what's going on here. We are going to break down everything in this charging document. I want to state for the record that whoever filed this application, they saved me some time doing some redaction work, because they actually used a pseudonym for who is the victim in this case. There is a pseudonym for her, so we didn't have to go through it and redact her name or anything like that. That was actually already taken care of. So we didn't have to do that. All we really, you see at this top here, we, redact all of the personally identifying information, of course, but in this case, that saved us a little bit of time. So as you know, let's whip out our handy-dandy highlighter as we usually do. We're pinched in plenty, and as you can see, Robert Lookingbill, this is not just an application for charges. This is also an arrest warrant filed last week, and that's how they picked him up. Like I said, he just was released out of the Frederick County Adult Detention Center just today at about 1 p.m. But as you can see right here, this is his first charge. This is his second charge right here. His third charge. Can we highlight that? There we go. And then his fourth and final charge right here. So in any event, let's get to the finite details of what it is alleged that Mr. Lookingbill did. And I want to just state for the record before we get into this, I think it's always important to notate serious charges in a very serious case. The defendant is presumed innocent of these charges. He is not a guilty man, not as of this moment. He is innocent until proven guilty, and the state's got a long way to go before we can actually call this individual guilty of these crimes. I want to be very clear. It's not uncommon for a case to completely fall apart, so I want to make sure that I give, that statement. I want to put that out there, that this is somebody who very, very well could be completely innocent of these charges. We should never just take police word. We should never just take the word of prosecutors and things of that nature. They need to put on real evidence during the course of a trial if they want to convict somebody, and short of that, a person is innocent, at least in my book. We always want to make sure we highlight due process and everything that falls under that concept. So with that being said, here are the allegations from, let's see who filed this, by the way. The allegations from Detective Patterson, and that looks like it's going to be the sheriff's office for the county. So the allegation is that, do we have our highlighter? Good. On 4/2/24, Detective Patterson was assigned as the primary investigator in a criminal case involving a child being inappropriately touched by an adult on a school bus at Thurmont Middle School. Detective Fair of the Thurmont Police Department contacted the Frederick County Sheriff's Office and requested this case be handled by Frederick County Sheriff's Office because of a conflict of interest. Detective Fair said Robert Lookingbill, 71 years old, is the suspect and is a Thurmont Town Commissioner. That is true. Detective Patterson watched a recorded video of the child's forensic interview. Detective Patterson was unable to attend the physical interview, but Detective Schultz attended and watched the interview live. The child will be known as R.A. Detective Patterson observed the following from the interview. Forensic interviewer Megan McGowan. We hear a lot about this woman. She does like all of the child interviews in Frederick. She must. Interviewed R.A., who is 12 years old, at the Frederick County Child Advocacy Center. R.A. did not remember what day it was, but her bus driver told her to stop when she was going to get off the bus. R.A. thought he wanted to talk to her about something. During the bus ride, R.A. told her best friend about it. When the bus arrived at the school, R.A. went to the bus driver and he rubbed his hand on her butt. R.A. then walked off the bus and told her friend. R.A. said that she went to tell a principal and school counselor. Megan asked R.A. more about what the bus driver told her when she got on the bus that day. R.A. said she did not remember much, but he told her to be the last one of the bus, the last one off the bus, and she thought he wanted to talk to her. I think they wrote of. They meant to say that the allegation is that she was told to be the last one off of the bus. R.A. further explained she was the last one off the bus. R.A. walked up to the bus driver and he told her to move closer to her. The bus driver said bye and rubbed her butt. R.A. described the touching as the bus driver using his hand to touch her butt and demonstrated with her hand as it being flat and in an upwards motion. Megan asked R.A. what the bus driver's name was, and she said Bob. Megan asked if Bob had ever done anything else to make her uncomfortable. R.A. said Bob used to put his hand on his leg and his middle finger was out. R.A. said the behavior stopped, but a friend said that did not happen to her. Megan asked R.A. to describe where Bob was when he touched her butt. R.A. said that he was sitting in the front seat where he drives the bus, but his head was turned towards her. R.A. said she was standing next to where Bob was sitting and turned towards him. On 4/16, Detective Patterson reviewed information subpoenaed from Frederick County Public Schools. The first item reviewed was a school bus route, I don't know what that is, C21 AM 3043. It was driven by Robert Bob Lookingbill, and this route services Thurmont Middle School and Contocton High School. RA is picked up number 18 and picked up at approximately 06:35 hours. The approximate drop-off time at Thurmont Middle School is at 07:07 hours. Detective Patterson next reviewed video from this bus. This particular clip was dated 3/1/24 at 07:06 hours. The video shows an adult male sitting in the driver's seat wearing a baseball hat and flannel shirt. Several female students are seen exiting the bus, and he says bye to them. R.A. is the last student on the bus and walks up to the bus driver, later identified and confirmed by himself during an interview as Robert Lookingbill. R.A. looks at Lookingbill, and he turns to his right side in the driver's seat and looks at her. Lookingbill says something unintelligible, and R.A. turns to the right and starts to walk towards the stairs to exit the bus. Lookingbill then says, bye, name redacted. Let me give you a little tap right there. That's the quote. Bye, name, like bye, whatever her name is, let me give you a little tap right there. That's apparently what he said. As he says these words, he reaches towards R.A. with his right hand and extends his arm under her backpack and taps her buttocks with his hand. He quickly withdraws his hand and R.A. turns to look at him. Lookingbill smiles and bends over closer to R.A. and says, bye. R.A. says bye and walks off the bus. Lookingbill then drives away. On 4/17, Detective Patterson responded to Lookingbill's address in Thurmont to speak with them about this matter. Detective Patterson had contacted Lookingbill on 4/16/2024, and Lookingbill invited Detective Patterson over to his home to have a conversation about the incident. Upon arrival, Lookingbill invited Detective Patterson into his home and introduced his wife, who was present for the conversation. Detective Patterson asked Lookingbill to recount what happened. Lookingbill stated he was a bus driver, and on March 1st, he picked up his students as usual. Lookingbill said the students call him Mr. Bob. When he picked up R.A., he told her to be the last one off the bus when they arrived at the middle school. Lookingbill told Detective Patterson he wanted to talk to her about disrupting the bus ride the day before by twerking in the aisle. Lookingbill claimed he shook his finger at her when she did this. Lookingbill was also upset R.A. had put her feet up on the back of seat 18 and dirtied it. Lookingbill said he picked up elementary students after he dropped off at middle school and wanted his bus to be clean. Lookingbill said when he arrived at the middle school on March 1st, R.A. was the last student to get off the bus, as he asked her. Lookingbill claimed he looked at her and said, "You know what?" Lookingbill said R.A. smiled at him. Lookingbill said he noticed there was another bus behind him at the time and he needed to drive away, so he said bye to R.A. and called her baby. He was later told by his boss that was inappropriate to say. Okay. Yeah. Lookingbill said he does not remember if he touched R.A., but claimed if he did, it was an accident and not intentional. Lookingbill then said he was told by his boss at FCPS that the claim was he had touched R.A.'s butt. Lookingbill said he might have touched her on the book bag. Lookingbill then referenced if he did it, it would have been in the way baseball players do it, and demonstrated putting his hand forward and said, "Pop." Detective Patterson asked Lookingbill if he had ever touched another student on the butt like a baseball player, and he did not answer the question but said he gives students pat on the back or rub on the head. Lookingbill admitted he knew R.A. was in the 6th grade. Detective Patterson asked how long he knew R.A., and he said he had been driving her for 4 years since 2nd grade. Lookingbill showed Detective Patterson notes he received from R.A. with food she wanted from McDonald's. Lookingbill denied ever buying her food and said she was silly and would write him notes. Detective Patterson told Lookingbill what was on the video. Lookingbill said okay, and he did not remember doing that, but thinks if he did that, it would be on the backpack. Detective Patterson asked if the touching was on purpose or accident, and Lookingbill avoided answering this and said, quote, "I've tapped kids on the head, and I've tapped them on the back, and I might have hit the backpack." Detective Patterson asked why he would intentionally touch R.A.'s butt, and he said he did not know. Lookingbill acknowledged he was R.A.'s bus driver and considered a caretaker and did not blame her for reporting it. He also acknowledged he was a mandatory reporter if a child reported something to him. Lookingbill also admitted to knowing there were cameras on the bus that recorded. Due to the above information, Lookingbill is a 71-year-old man and R.A. is a 12-year-old girl. Lookingbill is a school bus driver and a caretaker of R.A., while he is in his official capacity of a bus driver. Lookingbill intentionally tells R.A. to stay on the bus and SAs her, telling her and touching her buttocks area while she attempts to walk off the bus. And then she requests that Rob Lookingbill is hit with all these charges, all events in Frederick, and that's where we have it, guys. That is the allegation right there in as much detail as I have in my possession. So, guys, as you know, he's released on recognizance, and from one of the things I'll finally mention before we wrap up here is that the prosecutor actually demonstrated that so-called video to the judge today, so the judge saw that, and the gallery couldn't see it, of course, but the judge saw it, and so I don't know. We could hear it a little bit, but we couldn't actually see it. So, guys, that's all the information we have right now, as I've already said, and we'll follow the matter and see where it goes. You know, like I said, he is innocent until proven guilty, and we'll see how this whole situation plays out. I hope this video has been useful, and with that, Levi Trumbull reporting in Frederick County, Maryland. We'll catch you guys soon.